Hello students, welcome back. We'll continue with the same chapter tissue. In our previous lecture, we studied about meristematic tissue. We are here studying about the plant tissue and we studied the first type of tissue, meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is of three types: apical, lateral and intercalary. Apical is present at the tip of root and stem, therefore it increases the length. Lateral is present at the girth, therefore it increases the breadth or the size in breadth. Okay, and intercalary is present at the base of the leaves and at the nodes and internodes of the leaves. After that, we studied that the meristematic tissue only get promoted to permanent tissue. Okay, and the process by which it takes a permanent shape, size and function is known as differentiation. Today we will be studying about all the different types of permanent tissue. The permanent tissue are of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Let us first take the simple permanent tissue. Now, the simple permanent tissue is again of three major types, but we will take all the three types separately. Starting with the first simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma. This parenchyma, the function of this parenchyma is generally storage. What will it store? It will store the food, nutrients, water or whatever is in extra or excess in the plant body is stored in parenchyma. Now, this parenchyma is present at all the places. Okay, where all the places? When I am saying all the places, it does not happen that the whole plant is made up of parenchyma, but it is used as a packaging material. Like if I want to pack a glass thing, okay, I put up the thermocol so that when it moves, it will not break. Same way, the parenchyma is used as a packaging material in plant body. For wherever storage is required and wherever you require packaging, wherever there is a space, this parenchyma will be present. Now, this parenchyma are generally irregular in shape and it have more amount of intercellular space. So, suppose if I draw a parenchyma, I will have spaces between them and the vacuole over here is very large. Why? I told you that the parenchyma function is storage. And since vacuole is the storage body of the plant, the vacuole over here is large. It have a centrally located vacuole. As a result, the nucleus goes on the side. Let us write down. Parenchyma is known for storage. It can store anything: water, mineral, food, whatever is in excess. And it is also known as a packaging tissue. Sometimes it is found that the parenchyma stores chlorophyll. Now, what is chlorophyll? It is the green pigment by which the plant prepare its own food. And in such case, the parenchyma is called as chlorenchyma. Okay, this is the case when the parenchyma is storing the green pigment chlorophyll. The next one is that when sometime in your aquatic plant, you all know that the aquatic plant keep on floating, okay, and for anything to float you require it to be buoyant, and that is with the help of air. So, in aquatic plant this parenchyma stores air and this air makes the plant buoyant so that it can easily float, and in such case the parenchyma is called as arenchyma. This is when it stores air, that is in your aquatic plant. Now, the cell wall of this is thin. Okay, it is thin and it is made up of cellulose and another material called as calcium pectate. This is nothing but sugar. This pectate is nothing but your pectin, again a sugar, but it is with deposition of calcium. Okay, therefore calcium pectate. Now, this parenchyma I told you in the previous lecture that your permanent tissue can be either living or dead. Parenchyma is living cell, but they will not divide. The division of cell only takes place in plant cell only in meristematic tissue. So they are living. Okay, so if we recapitulate what is parenchyma, parenchyma is a type of simple permanent tissue. They are living, they are known for storage, and where are they present? They are as a packaging tissue. Wherever space is there, they will be present. They have a cell wall which is thin, which is made up of cellulose and calcium pactate. If the parenchyma is storing chlorophyll, you call it as chlorenchyma, and if it stores air, then you call it as aerenchyma. That is generally in aquatic organism. Going to the second type of simple permanent tissue, that is colchenchyma. Now this colchenchyma is generally providing mechanical strength to the plant. It is present on the places where you can bend the plant easily. So where will it be present? It will be present at the leaves and even in the small stems. So it helps the plant in bending and provides a mechanical support. This colchenchyma are also living cell, but remember the permanent tissue will not divide. They are also living, but they do not divide. So these are present at the places where you can bend. The leaf can bend, the stems, the small and the soft stems can bend. So at all that places you have the tissue called as colchenchyma. The cell wall over here are thickened at the corners. So if I draw a colchenchyma, I will have the corners which are thick in cell wall. Okay, the corners of this colchenchyma are thick, and it is made up of cellulose and pectin. Here you don't have calcium along with pectin, you have only pectin. So it is made up of cellulose and pectin. Okay, and since these are in such shape, they have less intercellular space than your parenchyma. I said the parenchyma have maximum intercellular space because it is used for only packaging. It have less intercellular space than your parenchyma. Okay, so the parenchyma have maximum, then is your colchenchyma, and then we will go to the next one. The second type of permanent tissue, that is your colchenchyma. Colchenchyma is present at the place where you have bending of plant is possible, and it provides a mechanical support. These cells are also living. The cell walls are thickened at the corner and are made up of cellulose and pectin, and they have a very less intercellular space than that of parenchyma. Let us go to the next and the last type of permanent tissue, that is the simple permanent tissue, your sclerenchyma. Now the first one was living and present where? For packaging. The second one was present wherever you require bending. This third type of simple permanent tissue is actually a tissue which is dead. Okay, and when something is dead, it becomes hard. So this is present at the bark of the tree, your husk of coconut, covering of your seeds, or I can write seed covering, and as well as the veins of the leaf. When you have the leaf, you have the veins, right? We have studied about two types of veins, parallel venation and reticulate venation. So these veins are bit harder than the leaf material. So these veins are nothing but your sclerenchyma tissue. So at the veins of leaf. Okay, so the sclerenchyma is dead tissue present at the bark of the tree, the husk of the coconut, seed covering, and the veins of the leaves. Now this have a very thick cell wall. okay, and the cell wall over here is made up of lignin. This lignin deposition makes the cell wall very hard. Okay, it have a very thick cell wall which is made up of a sugar called lignin, and this lignin deposition makes the cell wall very hard. Okay, and it have no intercellular space. The intercellular space between the sclerenchyma tissue is absent. Therefore, it makes the thing very hard. Okay. Apart from this, there is a one more type of tissue which covers the outermost covering of everything in the plant body. Okay. And that is nothing but your epithelial cells or epidermal cells. Now, it is not a type of simple permanent tissue, but all the plants are covered with the outermost layer called as epidermal cells. Okay. Now, depending on the habitat, this epidermal cells may change or vary. Now, in your simple dry regions where you require more amount of water to be stored, these epidermal cells are thick. Okay, in dry habitat, it is thick, so that the water loss is minimum. So, the epidermal cell is what? It is nothing but the outermost layer of all the parts of the plant, and in dry habitats, it is very thick. The next one of the epidermal cell is very important, which we have already studied, and that is of leaf. I will do this in a bit more detail, because in leaves the epidermal cells have a specialized type of cell over there which is known as guard cells. These guard cells are nothing but they have a kidney shape, okay, and two guard cells encloses a hole called as your stomata. Okay. So, stomata is not a cell, but it is a hole which is created because when these two guard cells, kidney shaped guard cells are coming close to each other. So, the stomata can be either open or it can be either closed. It is simple. How does it works? This have holes over here. So, when the water is taken in the plant, this hole or the guard cell gets filled with the water, and guard cells are like balloon. Okay. So, what will happen? They will swell up. When they swell up, anything can go in and come out, because there is a space which is created, which you call it as stomata, and in this next case the water moves out. So, what happens? This guard cell get closed. Okay, you inflate a balloon, it opens and then it closes when the air moves out. So, the same way when it gets closed, there will be no exchange of gases. Okay, so the exchange of gases in plant takes place with the help of this stomata. And the water which comes in is due to the roots and moves out by the process called as transpiration. We all have studied in our lower classes. So, exchange of gases and transpiration. So, epidermal cells helps in taking up of gases in plant as well as it helps in transpiration. So, we studied about the first type, that is it is thick. The first thing is it is thick in depending on the habitat. If it is in a habitat where it is too much amount of cold, then it may be thin. Okay, and in dry habitat, since you cannot allow the water to move out, it is thick layer so that the water does not move out. Then in leaves, the epidermal cell, along with the epidermal you have guard cells which have stomata which helps in the exchange of gases. The next one is in your desert, where the heat is too much, where you cannot allow a little bit amount of water to also move out. In such cases, the epidermal cell is covered with a wax coating. Okay, and the wax is made up of cutin. Fine. So, in desert plants, the epidermal cells are coated with a wax called as cutin, and in the same way the terrestrial plant, if you see the bark of the plant and if you add water and water on the bark, the plant will not absorb the water from the bark. The reason is, in your plants, the bark of the tree, it is made up of sclerenchyma, but the outermost layer of everything will be your epidermal tissue. So, the bark of a tree have this deposition of another wax called as suberin. and this suberin do not allow the water to move out. If you take wax and pour water on it, or take a candle and allow that wax to settle and then pour water on it, the water will not settle on it, it will move out. So, the same way the bark of the tree have suberin which do not allow the water to settle, or it becomes impervious to the water. Okay. So, the simple permanent tissue are majorly of 3 types. The first one, parenchyma. Parenchyma are nothing but the packaging tissue, okay, and if it is, the major function is storage. If it is storing chlorophyll, you call it as chlorenchyma. If it is storing air, you call it as aerenchyma. They have a very thin cell wall, okay, and they will have a large vacuole because they are storing the things. The next one being colchenchyma, which allows the bending, the twisting of the things and provides a mechanical support, okay, and it is present at the leaves and the branches. Fine. The colchenchyma have corners which are thickened and it have a deposition of cellulose and pectin. Then come the third type, the sclerenchyma. The sclerenchyma is having a deposition of lignin, and because of it the sclerenchyma becomes hard. They are generally dead cells and present at the hard parts like the husk of the coconut, the bark of the tree and the seed covering and so on. Okay. And then all the types of tissue are generally covered with the outermost layer called as epidermal cells. In dry habitat you have a thick layer of epidermal cell so that the water can stay. The next, and the sun rays will not enter that much harshly. The next you are having leaves. In leaves the epidermal cell have guard cells which have stomata which helps in exchange of gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen, and also helps in transpiration. Then in desert it have a wax coating called cutin so that the water do not evaporate, the transpiration will not take place. And in bark of the tree you have the deposition of suberin. Okay. In the next lecture we will study about the complex permanent tissue of plant cells. Thank you.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.epathshala.org or visit our ePathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win ePathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.